All right, cheers, everybody. Been a crazy couple days. I was actually on vacation, and the NBA draft happened, and the trade. If you're a Warriors fan, you really kind of care about it, and it's kind of insane, I guess. Let's talk about it real quick. So, as a fan, I've seen a lot of people are really hating the Chris Paul pickup versus losing Jordan Poole, losing these draft picks. There's a lot more to that. I feel, and I hope people can really, at least fans, can just take a deep breath and relax. So I understand we just got way fucking older, so I totally get that. Chris Paul's 38 years old. I understand. Versus Jordan Poole is what, like 24, 25 years old. I understand that he has way more athletic ability, can shoot better. That's for darn sure. Defense wise, I would say they're about the same. But longevity wise, obviously Jordan Poole has the longer possible higher ceiling career. Now, this is my thing, guys. I think a lot of people have to, as fans, is just to really realize what the Warriors are doing, what Mike Dunleavy Jr. is doing, because he's getting ripped. He's getting ripped to shreds, saying how can you give this guy up, pick up an old 38-year-old man, and plus you give draft picks. So I think number one, the biggest thing is that the Warriors are now no longer handcuffed to that enormous contract that they just gave Jordan Poole last year. So it gives them flexibility, guys. Us as fans, we don't give a shit. We just want to see what's on the court, who's the best players, can we win championship? That's all we care about, and I understand that. But it's still a business, and, obviously you got to make the numbers match. So we're technically handcuffed to Jordan Poole, and I feel like by that, especially with the way he's been playing the playoffs the past couple of years. I know a couple of years ago he was intricate in regards to us winning the championship. Understand that. However, you really watch the past couple of years, whenever Steph is sitting, whenever Steph is not on the floor, they put him in Jordan Poole, and he's just not dependable defensively and offensively. I mean, it's just, there's no flow. Granted, don't get me wrong, he's the fastest guy. He can get to the hoop. He can score when he's hot. He can shoot when he's hot. But other than that, he doesn't provide much of anything else, guys. He's not the greatest defensive player at all. We all know that. He's not going to be, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, he's already, how many years into his career, he hasn't really improved defensively. Offensively, I'd say he's gotten a little bit better, but then it's just also the decision-making, guys. He has the ball primarily in his hands a lot of the times. Even when Steph's on the court, he still has the ball in his hands, bringing it up, set up. And then he makes some not so good decisions. You guys saw last year. And this is I think the Warriors are wanting a more dependable, more consistent player. Obviously, having the older Chris Paul, he's going to make better decisions. He's not going to be as dynamic. In reality, that's not what the Warriors need. They don't need a dynamic player. They need someone who's going to be consistent and make smart decisions. That was the one thing, if you guys look at last year's playoff run and what Jordan Poole didn't provide, was even if he was cold, his shooting was cold, he couldn't score worth shit. But the thing was, he was making bad decisions, and that is where I think Chris Paul will be the biggest difference. His experience and just his game knowledge. He might not be able to score, and it's whatever, but he's not going to make the stupid decision makings. And that's the biggest thing that the Warriors did not need last year from anybody who's coming in to replace Steph, to give him a breather, is to make stupid decisions and make bad decisions. And I think that was the biggest draw to getting Chris Paul. And then obviously the contract. Now you guys have to understand, after this year, Chris Paul is done. And the Warriors got that entire contract off their books so they can go pick up somebody else, extend if this works. If they can win a championship, who knows? They can pick somebody else in free agency or re-sign Klay Thompson if they want to, or, have the flexibility to re-sign Draymond. That's the biggest thing, too. People can forget. I don't think after that punch, that punch debacle, if that video never came out, all we would have heard is like, oh, Draymond and Jordan Poole got into a scuffle. There's video of it. But if there wasn't, would it has been that big of a deal? We all know teammates fight. It's not that big of a deal, but there was video of this. So because there was video of this and it was leaked out for whatever or whoever odd reason, they could not get along after this year. I don't think, Draymond was going to come back. He wanted to make sure that the team was dedicated to him, or loyal to him, and vice versa. Jordan Poole, and there's a lot of smoke around Jordan Poole about how he's a punk. And the thing is, a lot of people, he talks a lot of shit, which is fine. That's just part of ball. That's part of basketball, guys, is the shit talking. It happens. However, I felt, or at least the rumors are saying that, Jordan Poole just kind of toes that line and sometimes crosses it when it comes to, the shit talking and all that stuff. But, is what it is. And I think my thoughts are the way the Warriors are loyal and going to be loyal to Steph Curry, the best person that Steph Curry can play with is Draymond versus Jordan Poole. It's plain and simple. Jordan Poole does not help Steph Curry play better. Draymond does. And that's the thing. The Warriors are gonna, because of the way Draymond doesn't need to freaking score, but what he does is he's able to, to do the pick and roll with Steph. He's able to play certain defense, rotate defense. He knows how to play. He knows to find the backdoor cuts of everything of Steph. He knows how to roll to the hoop after, faking the handoff, things like that. So if you watch that, he enhances Steph's gameplay. Jordan Poole doesn't. And if you are going to keep Steph Curry, which he's still got many couple more years left of being a top echelon player, you got to get the team around Steph that's going to make him a better player and make the team better. And in reality, I don't think Jordan Poole does. He doesn't make Steph better. He doesn't make the team better in that sense when Steph's the best players are on the floor. So there you guys go on that. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how is Steph gonna mesh with Chris Paul? Everybody's all crying and bitching about, like, they play two different styles of game. Very true, because Steph is not a very, they're not heavy pick and roll. However, the thing is, if you watch the past last year, whenever Steph towards the end of the game or in crunch time, they went through the pick and roll. And my thing is, if Steph needs a breather, Chris Paul can run the pick and roll pretty good. He's one of the best pick and roll players in the NBA, even at that age. So my thing is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to start with Steph? Who knows? I think the way both of them can play, they can adjust. We all know Steph can adjust. It doesn't matter if they had KD. It didn't matter if they don't have KD. Then it doesn't freaking matter. That's how great Steph is. A lot of people underestimate, I think they undervalue how great of a team player Steph Curry is. He can adjust his game to fit any player that's on the court. So I think with Chris Paul, he'll be able to adjust. I think Chris Paul is going to be able to help alleviate some of the pressure and also some of the burden of the pressure, the minutes. And that's the thing where I felt like in a playoff run towards the end there that Jordan Poole was not helping the team at all of giving Steph any type of breaks. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Now, I still think, though, that contract thing probably weighs heavily more than anything else. Warriors just didn't want to be attached to a guy who, in reality, hasn't really won anything without anybody else. So we'll see how good Jordan Poole is this year. We're going to see if he's a superstar or not on the Washington Wizards squad, who I don't think is going to be that good. But am I happy to move on for Jordan Poole? I'm not happy. I would have liked to see another year, but I just think the way things, happened last year, it just wasn't going to work, especially too many egos. And I felt like he needed a fresh start. And I think the Warriors are going to have to move on. They were either going to have to go a fresh start with him, move on from Draymond and Clay, and even some of portions of Steph's game a little bit to tailor towards Jordan Poole more, or they moved on and trade him and just do what they just pretty much did. So I think that's what they did. I think the Warriors still have a good nucleus there. They still have Steph. They still have Clay. I think they're going to re-sign Draymond. I can't see another team really giving him as much as the Warriors will give him. And the reason I say that is because of the style that the Warriors play. And he's an intricate part of it. So that's why they'll be able to pay him a little bit more, because he's more vital. Versus if he goes to another team, I don't think depending on their scheme, if he's going to fit in as well as he does with the Warriors. So I think they're going to re-sign him. I think the Warriors did pretty decent on the draft. And I think trading those picks, I know it hurts a little bit, you know, giving away picks, future picks. However, I think as long as they alleviate themselves from a nasty contract, I felt like it was going to hamper them a bit. It's always a good thing. I think contracts is tough unless you have a bona fide superstar, and then you got to give them, you know, whatever they want on that. So there you guys go. That's my thoughts of it. I think it was a good move. I don't think it was a great move. We'll see, because there's still going to be other pieces I think they still have to add to make this a great move, and see if they resign and, you know, all that stuff. So if they resign Draymond or Clay extension, or they're going to move on from Clay. They may move on from Clay, guys. You never know that. So that's just my thoughts on that right now. However, you know, best of luck to Mr. Jordan Poole. Just no more pool parties in the Bay, guys. So other than that, man, if you guys like this shit, subscribe.